Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have a diamond in the rough I'd like you guys to meet. His name is Harold Irby III. He is a defensive lineman out of Saginaw Valley State. Nice to have you today, buddy.
Hey, Jimmy, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Obviously, coming out of a very tough conference there in the GLIAC, looking at a very disruptive defensive lineman who just finished out his collegiate career. And people need to know this guy. So go ahead, introduce yourself, Harold, and we'll get going.
All right, well, my name is Harold Irby, kind of like Jimmy said. I'm a D tackle from Saginaw Valley State. I originally come from St. Clair Shores, Michigan. Went to Lakeview High School, and I've been at Saginaw Valley the last 4.5 years and have had 36 starts at D tackle.
Nice. 36 starts pretty nice, to say. So cool. Well, Harold, do you want to kind of get I guess, the backstory picture of you as an athlete? So, first of all, how long have you played football?
I've played football since probably second grade or even before that. I remember my dad, he got me into a flag league and quickly realized flag was not at the competitive level that he wanted his son to be at. So we moved up to tackle and I played Little League down for a team called the East Detroit Tiger Cats in the East Side of Detroit. And then from there, I transitioned to a middle school level, and then I went to high school, and I played at Lakeview High School. Around that same time, I also played basketball, played baseball as a little kid, and just kind of transitioned basketball and football all the way through high school.
Cool. So, answered a lot of questions here. Just want to reiterate some of them. Attended Lakeview High School in St. Clair Shores, Michigan. And then along with some football, played some basketball. Pretty decent basketball player back in the day. But obviously, football's been your sport since what I guess you would have been like seven.
Yeah,
So,
I'd say seven.
what is it about football you love the most, man?
Man, there's a lot. Honestly, for one, it was just like structure in my life, being able to have something that I could dedicate my time to every day and keep me from getting in trouble or doing other stuff. But outside of that, like I just love the physicality aspect and the effort aspect. And I mean that by effort in football can erase a lot of mistakes. And I just love like when you give everything you have, like you're able to reap the fruits of your labor, I would say.
Nice. I was thinking about maybe a guy that plays your position, grows up in Michigan, might have been a Lions fan, maybe a fan of Ndamukong Suh. I don't know if that was your guy or maybe somebody else growing up. Who was that for you?
Yeah, I loved Ndamukong Suh growing up. I remember I was taken to a Lions practice when I was a little kid, and I got to see him there wearing 90. I was a big fan, the aggression he brought, but also his personality. Like he was an awesome dude outside of football. Just loved working hard. But then also like I've been an Aaron Donald fan ever since I can remember as well. So
That's fair. I was just thinking again, the area, the team he
yeah.
was drafted by and all that other stuff. Certainly, two very dominant defensive linemen. Um, I think, when I think of Aaron Donald, I think of somebody who's very relentless, and just somebody you can't stop, man. Like he just has a motor that, you just couldn't compete with. And then you have a guy like Ndamukong Suh, which he is a freak in his own right. It's hard to stop a guy like that who's just like a huge beast
Yeah.
coming at you. I think Colt McCoy's probably still got nightmares about him
Man, yeah,
back
exactly.
back in the day for college and pros. So,
Mhm.
but anyhow, so obviously, went on to Saginaw Valley State. How was the recruiting for you coming out of high school? Was it always going to be Saginaw because they're, obviously close school there in Michigan, or was there maybe some other schools that you had considered?
Yeah, well, I was a kid. I had pretty much every school in the GLIAC was recruiting me, and then a lot of FCS programs. And honestly, I was pretty sold on going to a different GLIAC school. And I was able to go to Saginaw late just because I got to talk with Coach Brady, the head coach at Saginaw Valley, and I just really was able to buy into what he was trying to build. Then like I love the strength conditioning program, the program that we have at Saginaw is, and there's not many like that in the country at this level. So that's really what sold me on Saginaw Valley.
Nice. And come to find out, you're actually a pre-med guy going into medicine or something along those lines, which to me I find kind of odd coming from a football player, if I'm being honest. But hey, obviously doing some good things in the classroom there at Saginaw. Talk to me about really just you as a student and what you've been able to accomplish.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for asking. So yeah, I'm a rehab med is my official major, but I'll be going to get my doctorate eventually when football is over. I think that was always kind of in my blood. My grandma was a nurse. My aunt, she was a nurse, actually a nurse anesthetist. So just kind of following in those footsteps, and I just loved helping people, but I also love the science behind that. So the program here at Saginaw Valley, I've had a lot of professors that's been awesome to me and really helped me, especially with balancing my schedule and football. It was tough to manage, but they've definitely helped me get through it.
So with a guy with a class schedule like yours, I gotta ask, what has been your toughest class there at Saginaw?
Ooh, um, there's been some tough ones. I would say a couple years ago, I would say I took a pretty hard anatomy, and it was anatomy and physiology, and I would say that would be pretty tough. On top of that, let's see, microbiology. I think that was a pretty tough class that I had to take. So yeah, a couple of those tougher ones.
Hey, obviously you're doing well at it though. I mean, you're still in that, working towards great things there academically. So, kudos to you in that regard.
Thanks.
Um, do want to turn things, to the football field, for our conversation. So, one thing that I've kind of noticed over the past several seasons is Saginaw Valley. They have a very sound defense, playing in a very tough conference. If people aren't as familiar with the GLIAC, you guys are, really fighting and clawing against some of the best at your level. Um, but again, defense is something that you guys were able to bring. Talk about your defense and how you've been able to handle things, over your time there.
Yeah, man. This defense here is special, but I got to give credit to the coaches and recruiting, but also just helping put us in position. But we play a very physical style of defense, and I think that's kind of helped me grow into the football player I am, to where I just like I pride myself in stopping the run, and earning the right to rush the passer. And the reason our defense has been so successful over the years and really given a lot of the programs problems is just because everybody on the field is like consistent with doing their 111th and playing hard, playing physical, and being relentless to the football. And I think when you do that over and over and over, and you have a group of guys that is willing to do that and not give up, that's when you can have like a really successful defense, which is what we had here.
Cool. And there are some NFL guys actually coming out of the GLIAC as well. And even one of your former teammates currently playing for the Detroit Lions in Nowoski, Trevor Nowoski. So I had a chance to play alongside him. Obviously, one of your good friends. Talk about some of these guys who have been, I don't know, maybe some of the better teammates over your tenure there.
Yeah, I've had some great teammates to play with. I mean, like you said, you can start with Trevor. Talk about a dude that just came to work every day, regardless of what was going on, regardless of the schedule, the season, his injuries. Came to work every day and just put in work. But I also got to say, a guy like Jake Dorn, he was a defensive lineman who played here earlier in my career, and those two guys, they really like helped like inspire me as far as my work ethic. And we used to get extra workouts in every day at 5:15. We used to call it the 5:15 crew, and they really helped me. But you could also say a guy like Nick Whiteside, being able to sit down with him and have some good personal conversations and stuff like that. I played with a lot of guys, man, a lot. Some Micah Kretzinger right now, Brandon Rawls, like Alfred Daly. The list can go on and on.
Yeah, and again, very very successful defense there. During your time, um, And so now let's turn to you as the prospect, you as a defensive lineman. Obviously, finished up your time there at Saginaw Valley. When we're looking at you as a prospect playing on the defensive line, what do you feel separates you perhaps from others at your position?
I believe one thing that separates me is my IQ for the game. Um, I believe the way I can see the game as a defensive lineman and be able to read blocks fast, read schemes fast, identify formations. I feel like you don't see that much, especially for interior D linemen. And that helps me to play fast and with a relentless motor. And then I would say like that I just take pride in stopping the run and earning the right to rush the passer. And that was kind of instilled by me from our D line coach here at Saginaw. But just being able to stop the run and play every down, not just be a one down guy, one-dimensional guy. Stopping the run, earning the right to stop the passer, and just being able to identify formations and help put myself or my D line in the best position to make a play.
Yeah, the adjective that I wrote down was disruptive. And so obviously, like you said, stopping the run. Also was able to get 4.5 sacks this season. So I mean, he can obviously rush the passer as well. And so the other thing that I also feel that separates you as a prospect is a guy who has good quality strength. Talking to you, kind of before our conversation, found out do an excellent job in the weight room, prepping yourself. Talk about what you've been able to accomplish there over the years, and maybe your favorite lift.
Yeah. Well, I've had a great strength coach in Fahad Jindani, and he's really helped develop me as well as like my teammates, members of the D line, the O line, who's helped me push every day through hard workouts. And I just found that was a spot of my game that if I could learn not only to get stronger, but to translate that strength and that power on the field, that would really help me, and it has. So, I mean, I love pretty much any type of workout. I think my favorite would be the power clean just because there's so many components of it, and once you kind of master that, it's a pretty cool feeling. So
Yeah, and the number I got in here is about 355, 360 in that power clean, which is very solid number for a guy at your position. Also 650 back squat, a lot of good other numbers as well. 800-pound deadlift is just nuts for me. I don't know how you're able to accomplish those things, but I mean, certainly knows what he's doing there and can prep himself properly. Obviously to be ready, come game day. So neat. So again, just kind of looking at what Saginaw Valley has been able to do over the past years. The schedule is a hard one. When you're facing some of the top talent in all of Division Two, but still having a relatively good season. This past season going 7-4, and so as you kind of close the door there, what do you feel like you got the most out of like this season, man? Just kind of looking back on it.
looking back on the season, I actually was doing this the past few days. I think what I've gotten the most out of was just how connected this team was. In my years that I've been here and really been in football, I've never had a team like this, especially a defense like this. How like I'm connected all the way out to the corners, have personal relationships with our corners, our safeties, and then also across the ball with the O lineman, the quarterback, man. Just like the connection from this team, like that's really what was special. On top of like playing with extremely talented people, so.
Cool. And so, obviously connected to a lot of people, made a lot of great memories. And so, why don't you share one of those with me? Maybe two of like some of your better memories, best personal highlights, actually during your time.
We got a lot. I mean, I would say like the bus rides. I guess I can't really get into them too much, but just like messing around on the back of the bus with the defensive guys. The D line usually sits in the back of the bus, and I mean we would do karaoke. That was pretty fun to have guys get up there. You got 300-pound D tackles standing up there singing Taylor Swift and stuff like that. So those are good memories. And then just hanging out with the fellas. Nothing special, but just sitting down like with the guys and reminiscing and stuff like those will be the memories that you'll carry.
Gotcha. What about a game, man? Talk me through a moment actually in a game. Maybe your best highlight.
Shoot. I got a couple, man. I would say like this season, it would have to be like probably when we were playing Grand Valley and the first couple drives, first drive, um my D tackle who plays next to me, Carson Brandy, he came up with a big sack to really set the tone. And then the next drive we came out there, I got mine the next play and just being two eye interior rushers, like to do that was pretty special, you know.
Nice. Well, I mean, hey, it's nice to be able to, you know, it's a competitive like thing, you know. I mean, you go out there and you say, hey, you got yours, now I got to get mine, and
Yeah,
you know, maybe by the end of the game, let's see who wins this.
exactly.
Um, cool. So as we, I don't know, continue to reminisce a little bit about you in your career. What do you feel has been the biggest change for you? You know, when we look back at maybe the guy coming in from Lakeview High School up to now, where we're looking at a guy who is an NFL prospect right now. What's the biggest change?
Um, not a whole lot physically, honestly, but the biggest change would just be my mentality. When I was in early high school, I was playing the game really just to like have fun with my friends, but I didn't really have structured goals in my personal life. And my parents, they kind of taught me how to make these goals and say, you can really take this somewhere if you want to. And as I got older in high school, I was able to do that. And then really when I got to college and I got around some like really disciplined guys in this team, older guys in the team, that really helped me to start like setting goals and then like doing what was necessary in every facet of my life to go achieve them, whether it was a nutritional thing or it was skill work, watching film, stuff like that. And that's really like what changed me from a kid that was playing football, having fun, was decent at it, to a dude that's addicted to this game.
Well, hey, it's nice that you have developed that discipline over the years. I think some people it takes a little bit of time. But again, for you, you've gotten yourself to a point where you established yourself well, put together, pretty decent career, lots of great games, several tackles, several sacks, and hey, something to be proud of there for sure.
Thank
So.
you, man.
I do want to take a moment to meet this guy off the field just a little bit.
Yeah.
So, anything else that you want to share about yourself? I mean, we've learned about you as a student, as a football player. What else about this guy do we need to know? Any other special talents or interesting fun facts or something, or maybe some of your hobbies? Hit me with something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty relaxed dude off the field. I just enjoy hanging out with my friends, not really in large groups, just my small group of friends. But I love all sports. I love competition. I love to hunt and fish. Grew up going up north to northern Michigan, where a lot of my family stayed up hunting and fishing. So I love that and love listening to all kinds of music. I mean, I'm a big country music fan, so I listen to anything you put on. I'm a big music fan as well.
You don't get too many country music fans in Michigan.
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
I
I'm just kidding.
don't either. It's great music.
Well, a couple things that I just want to kind of piggyback off there just for fun. You had mentioned earlier that you have these memories of doing karaoke in on the bus or whatever. Harold, it's your turn. You get up there. What are you singing? Is it that Taylor Swift or what is it for you? That,
Uh, well,
what would be your go-to, I guess?
yeah. When I was on the bus, I would let the guys pick for me, because that doesn't really make me nervous. But if I had to pick, like, I'll probably go with Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton, something slow, something that can show the range in your voice and stuff. So something that the crowd can actually see the talent in your voice.
Do you fancy yourself a singer or what?
I wouldn't say a singer. I'd say a dude who tries. Maybe a wannabe in a different life.
Well, we need to get you like a cowboy hat and see how far that'll go.
Definitely, man. A cowboy hat, and I've been learning a little guitar, actually. So maybe one day that'll be my next transition.
All right, interesting. Let's see here. You said you were comfortable being outdoors, hunting, fishing, like that sort of thing. Is that something that maybe you would do like in your hometown of St. Clair Shores, or
No,
no?
St. Louis Shores, that's a suburb, but my mother's whole side of the family, they grew up in a small town called Alpena, and my grandparents, they actually had a farm that they operated up there. So I would spend my summers, shoot, even my winters on Christmas break, just going up to visit my grandmother, and she had property, so I would go out learning to hunt on that, fishing all summer long, and that's kind of where I got that kind of lifestyle ingrained in me to where it had if you don't see me working out or something like that, you can probably find me in the woods somewhere.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Let's see if I can come up with a couple other fun questions before we wrap things up. So, favorite breakfast cereal?
Got to be Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes, no doubt.
Okay. Is there I don't know, maybe a TV show that you would suggest that I binge watch when I have some time?
Yeah, Ozarks. You got to watch Ozarks on Netflix. I was just talking with my roommate about that. That is something I think anybody will be addicted to that show. It's a great show. Love it.
All right, fun stuff. Uh, I was sitting here thinking, I mean, obviously, you're from Michigan, go to a Michigan school. Maybe, I don't know if this guy's gone very far outside of his hometown or his state. What is the furthest you've ever been from home?
I've been able to travel a lot with my mom. She traveled a little bit for work. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to the Bahamas. Um, I've been down to Mexico.
Sounds like a
I've been,
country
yeah.
song.
Man, yeah. I've been able to travel a little bit. So
Cool. Is there a spot that you'd love to go back here soon or what?
honestly, my favorite spot, and I guess it kind of is based off my personality. I love like the Wyoming, Colorado area. Just getting out in the outdoors out there, kind of getting away from people for a little while. So that I would say getting back to Colorado or Wyoming would definitely be something on my list that I got to do soon.
Nice. One question, Harold, I want to throw your way, and I don't know if you've taken your time to think about these sorts of things, but obviously you're in a position where you're playing football, and you could perhaps use it as a platform for something else, something greater, obviously with the ability to maybe give back in some sort of way. So, have you thought about like a charity or cause that you might be able to really use it for, or what?
Yeah, I have actually. I do a lot of thinking on things like that. So I have a couple different things I'm thinking about, but like one thing that I want to do is come back to my hometown and I want to make a training facility, something that I really didn't have for kids that can come and you can get inside and have an indoor turf, indoor basketball court, whatever you may need, and you can come and get your training there, your weight training, and a place with specificity on sports and sport performance for kids. We don't really have a place like that around where I'm from, so being able to build that and just help kids take their training to another level. And then I say second, like charity wise, like I'm huge into childhood research for childhood illnesses and stuff like that. So I would definitely love to give back to an organization like St. Jude's and stuff like that, and help them, research to stop some of these crazy illnesses that are going on.
Cool. Well, they definitely appreciate that. Harold, do want to steer things back to football and hopefully wrap things up here very soon
Yeah.
with you. As a guy who's obviously trying to, get to the NFL, is there a guy at the NFL right now, whether it be maybe a quarterback or running back, who you'd love to get your hands on and just like take them down?
Yeah, there's quite a few. I would love, quite honestly, I would love to sack a Patrick Mahomes. Um, I would love just because he's kind of a slippery dude, and those are the dudes that you want to get down the most. So I would say Patrick Mahomes. And then honestly, like I want to tackle like a Derrick Henry or something like that. I love going against the best, love going against the biggest and the strongest, and so I would love to test that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe what we need to do is we need to get the Denver Broncos on the horn and see if we can get this guy a mini camp, invite or
Man,
like that.
definitely.
Um,
Denver.
Certainly a possibility here very soon, Harold. Hopefully, we do want to reach some people with this video that could maybe give you those opportunities. As we close up shop, tell those scouts out there why they need to take a chance on you and give you said opportunities. So hit them with your final thoughts and your pitch.
Yeah, I would say if taking a guy like me, you're going to get a guy that gives great effort, but it's going to be somebody that benefits your D line room. And whatever you do, if you play a 3-4, 4-3 scheme, whatever the scheme is, I can fit in there. And not only can I fit in, I can excel and I can lift up other people's level as well. From my work ethic to my motor on the field, the relentless effort that I play with, as well as my skill set. Um, there might be big guys out there or whatever, but I promise I can come in and I can make a boom.
Nice. Well, certainly a well-disciplined guy who's just waiting for his opportunity. So, Harold, want to wish you all the best in your endeavors on, in football and everything else you got going on. Okay.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, man.
Sure thing. Once again, Harold Irby III, defensive lineman, Saginaw Valley State. Check him out.